around the bottom side of the map to be able to, you know, take the tier 1 tower there, use that to invade, block up the camps, yada, yada, yada. That's not important anymore. No tinker.
I think primarily it's just like I'm not a fan of double range supports like Muerta and Witch Doctor together, and I'm not a fan of I'm just not a fan of Muerta as a support in general. I think having watched it through this qualifier, we've seen it lose as a carry 3 or 4 times, lose as a support a couple of times. It hasn't felt great, and Muerta Razor, cool, you're double range against double range, but you would rather it be Razor Tusk, Razor Clockwork, something like that instead.
Yeah, for sure. I still think I would. Do we value the Razor here? Into the Weaver feels a little to be honest. Is this going to come down to something as simple as just like whichever team has more than one type of initiation, I'm going to say is going to win?
Yeah.
Because it really feels like almost every single game has gone that way.
No, legitimately, I'm looking at this and thinking, you've picked Clockwork, pick Centaur now. I want you to have Clockwork Centaur, and then I want you to have an OD. Bring out, exactly, damage. Bring out the OD, SF, etc., something like that. Maybe even the Razor to slot in here as well. I know SF is banned, just giving ideas as we do move into this next ban phase. Yeah, I mean, OD banned, I think that's a good shout. You can kind of leave the Centaur in as long as you remove some of these big damage sources from Team Turtle.
You pick the Centaur.
And steal it away?
Didn't have an amazing game on it last time around, did JT, but he did what he needed to, right? Like, he got into the Blade Mail, he was used for the Stampede, they made space for him. That's I think where the big improvement as well was from G2.IG, just who needs farm right now? And we're talking like the first 10-15 minutes. It was all on the back of Nothing to Say to start off, but as soon as you had that Centaur, we speak of the devil, is going to be coming out here. As soon as you had him, get into that Blade Mail and Nothing to Say had his items, he was like, all right, JT, your turn to farm. Let's the 4 of us make space for you. So I think there was a lot more in-game communication coming out that time from G2IG, whereas in Game 1, they were miles ahead, and they just never felt like they all clicked at the exact same time to be able to go and make stuff happen.
Oh, Rubik. I was kind of hoping we'd see Bat Rider come back in, but he's not been a popular hero here, but Bat against Weaver and Wyvern could have been a pretty nifty one. But having Rubik against Weaver, that's always nice, something you talked about in one of the previous games. But just quickly on this Wyvern, right? Knowing that you're against a clock, knowing you're probably against a Centaur, now having 2 reset buttons in the fight through Winter's Curse and Time Lapse makes initiating so difficult, because you jump in onto one of them, they've got multi-layered saves that could potentially bail them out of these initiations.
Yeah, for sure. Also, and we see that TA. I'm liking this from both teams, honestly. They've both got really good ideas to be able to come through here, right? What's going to be good for them in lane. We still don't know if this is going to be TA mid and Weaver 1. It still is a very much possibility. This doesn't reveal anything either, right? It could be TA 1, DK2, DK3, Weaver 4. You've got that same level of flex that I liked in IG's Game 1 draft. If they do choose to go like full minus armor, this is a fantastic draft for it, right? Roshan melts, towers melt, individual heroes melt, and especially when you've got something like the Centaur that allows the team to just fully disengage with the Stampede. If someone just blows up before that's actually enabled to happen, then it really takes away a lot of the effectiveness.
In the direction of 1 Dragon Tail stun. Yeah, that's all they need. Yeah, just kind of dragging out these fights as well with Cold Embrace and that Winter's Curse. It can be a difficult one here for Team Turtle to get in and get the job done, but they are still missing that damage hero, right? Very, very likely to come out from Somnus. With no Storm, SF, OD, like Zeus comes to mind, but he's not been very popular this qualifier, has he?
No, definitely not. Just ever since the change, in particular to the Manta style not having the lightning hands anymore, really feels like you just don't get a lot of that farm for free, which is always going to be the dangerous part.
Is it like Lesh again?
Lesh or Timber,
Puck,
maybe?
Oh, Timber's nice. Yeah, I like that. Like Puck, Queen of Pain come to mind, but
Puck into TA feels horrible, though, if you run TA mid, and we know that NTS can do it. Even into the DK, it's not that great. Yeah, I don't think you can get away with, like, Viper this game. You are, like, so vulnerable to physical damage that if you went down that route, it's a little challenging. Okay, it's another form of initiation that they can look to play around. Again, not the most damage, though, to be able to play around with. And historically, DK does stomp you in lane. You mentioned, what was it, Animager, where TA just melding inside the river, 2-shot an Ember Spirit level 1.
Nothing to say was involved in that. I can't remember if Nothing to Say was the Ember or the TA, but yeah, I think it might have been Nisha Ember and Nothing to Say TA. But yeah, that was definitely a situation where TA meld level 1 just solo killed First Blood level 1, couple of meld hits. And not a good time for the Ember Spirit at all.
5 seconds remaining.
Still need that big damage source for me, Gary. It's going to need to be probably a ranged hero for Chalice to be able to play around. Like, I mean, if they don't have the, again, that secondary form of initiation on G2.IG, can you get away with something like the Drow? Can you get away with even, well, you're going to hate me saying it, Arc Warden coming out here? You know, it's a lot of range damage that you've got, and Magnetic Field is pretty nice against that sort of thing.
I'm wondering, having that funny conversation about Chalice, maybe wanting a bit of a funner hero to play. Maybe this is safe lane Ember. Because I'm thinking about like a Lena or something here for Somnus to play. Like I want a Somnus hero. I want maybe to be playing a maybe hero, and Ember Spirit maybe fits in there, but I think Lena would be much nicer. But we'll see where he goes.
Could they even run Lena 1? I think that's also a possibility.
Maybe. But then it's Chalice playing it, not Somnus.
They can just switch PCs. It's fine. So what do you need? You need burst damage, you need magic damage, or pure. You need some damage over time to be able to take care of the TA, and ideally something that does percent as well. So what does all that? Not
Enigma.
much.
Pick Enigma.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
One Enigma. There we go.
Let's frickin' go. And then on the other side, we just want more stuns, right? We want Earthshaker or something to come out from G2.IG.
That'd be hype.
5 seconds.
It's probably not going to happen.
Probably not going to happen.
Viper.
Oh, they do. Is it a 1 Viper? Or is it a mid Viper? And it is that 1 Ember Spirit that you're asking for. I mean, I was wanting Viper, but against all of this physical...
Are they putting maybe on a Viper and they're like, haha, Somnus playing Viper in 2024. No OD, no Shadow Feed, no nothing.
I mean,
5 seconds
could they just tiny here? And then it's like a... if you run it 1 though, it feels a little weird.
You don't want TA against Viper matchup, right? So that's like the fear.
It can really go. It can go either way. Like same sort of thing that you were talking about with the Ember. Viper's big weakness is physical damage. So if you've got all that minus armor, all that burst, it evens out a little bit from like level 3, 4 onwards. But at the very start, it's still very laneable, especially considering you've got the side blades innate now as well. I still think they just need a little bit more control in a lot of these fights. I don't think you can rely on like a Glipnir to do it. Oh, maybe you can actually. Well, Weaver's probably not going to be building into that as well. I don't know, Gary. How are they gonna do this? Just a stun, a reliable stun against a Stampede and an Ember Spirit is all I'm asking for.
I mean, just like I guess process of elimination here. The way I see it is it's Centaur, Rubik lane, Clockwork, Viper lane, and then Ember lane, right? So who does G2.IG want to be matching into that? They probably want this TA to be dodging. Like even if you can lane it, Viper is going to be annoying. So it's like, okay, TA is never going to be in the Viper lane.
Give me a Nyx
Viper,
Assassin.
right?
Give me a Nyx Assassin this game. I like it. It gives them another form of initiation. You always are able to get the Carapace onto Ember Spirit. Flame Guard is always running, so Carapace is going to proc onto him, and same sort of thing hitting into a Viper, right? Proc Carapace, hit with the Vendetta, and then he's going to get stunned afterwards as well, able to set up for a whole lot more. I like it. Probably not going to happen, but if it does...
I like it.
More physical damage. Is this just a pure minus armor draft?
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty wild. A lot of physical damage, a lot of Roche taking, not many stuns or teamfight abilities. You've got, again, Winter's Curse and Dragon Tail. These are your abilities to catch people out. I mean, Lycan's going to give you that extra bit of tower push and maybe create the space for Monet to build up on his TA. I don't know how to feel about this.
You can get negative 25 armor on people in these games. Like, that is how much minus armor they have. You have Howl, you have Corrosive Breath, you have Meld, you'll have a Desolator, you'll have Swarm coming out from Bobica as well. Someone's going to get an Orb of Destruction as well. Like, I'm really worried for Chalice this game. Yes, it's something that is a little bit more fun, maybe, compared to what the DK was, but Viper, I have to say it again, melts to physical damage. So you just got to make sure you're targeting him first in every single one of these engagements.
And Planet with some big smiles there, and Pichio as well, same kind of story. See what these two supports can do as they've got the Clockwork and the Rubik in their hands. I mean, Centaur Rubik, a pretty strong lane. Somnus Ember versus Nothing to Say DK in the mid lane. It's probably going to be a boring one. We're not going to peek too much into that, but the side lanes, a lot of potential action here. Just the fact you've got Weaver Lycan with... do we know what did Lycan take? He took the pack leader. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see necessarily, so I assume that's the one that you
The shapeshift one.
Yeah, you get to actually send your wolves out and do some scouting, which I think is going to be pretty important because I guess that's a little area that they are lacking somewhat, right? They still don't exactly have great initiation to be able to start out a lot of these team fights. You'll have, of course, the DK to be able to play around with, and eventually the Wyvern if you're able to get into a curse. Wouldn't be surprised to see Bobica go into something like an Atos as well, just to be able to give a little bit of help in that regard, but they aren't going to be able to run away from a lot of the aggression that you're putting into them. I'm still just a little bit worried about position 1 specifically, Chalice getting melted in a lot of these fights, and a relative lack of damage coming out from these supports.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's going to have the wolves with the swarm as well in this lane. You know, quite a bit of harassment that can come out of this Lycan Weaver lane. The other side, though, kind of passive with the TA and the Wyvern. This is, yeah, the more I see this and think about it, it's like a timing hit from G2.IG, right? Blink DK, TA with, Dragonlance Deso, whatever it is. And Lycan, we'll see him with that upgraded helm probably just to try and break these towers down, crack that map open a little bit and force them back. Because if you get the upper hand at any point in this game as G2.IG, that is the potential just to snowball out of contention. Because Team Turtle, they have this very weird power spike, right? Where, what is it?
I'm just looking at Bobica. So he's put a sentry ward down next to this bottom tier 2 tower. So that delays the creep wave down bottom by like... maybe only 3 seconds. So maybe you're saying, it's not worth 50 gold, but there was Clockwork's courier sitting right there as well. So I thought maybe he would just snipe it away. But no, he's going to be able to back off in time.
Well, it looked like it was going to scout it and the tower hits it down.
Yeah.
It didn't happen this time. But yeah, they're going to flow the game for Team Turtle. Laning stage could go pretty well for them with these very strong lanes. Viper Clockwork, Rubik Centaur can do a hell of a lot.
Those creeps.
And delay that up. Of course, we'll then have the back and forth bouncing lanes, and Baboka's going to body block it as well. Yep. Yeah, it's like kind of laning stage and then mid game kind of weak until late game. We look at this Viper kind of transitioning into Universal Hero, right? So it's a lot of choices to be made in terms of when you want to use your strengths as Team Turtle.
Nicely done by Picho to do the same sort of body block in the lane going the other way, just to make sure the wave didn't go right underneath that tower. Not going to be in a really safe spot for G2IG to be able to play around. Wasn't able to catch him inside the cogs there on Picho. Get away with it for now. I feel like if it's getting to 25 minutes, something's gone... level 25 on the Viper, something's gone really wrong for G2IG, right? That is not what this draft was designed to do. You're designed to hit, like, a 30-minute game is the ideal coming through here for G2.
And, yeah. It's like second Roche, minute 30, and then by, minute 33, the game is over. That kind of...
Is Bobica okay?
That kind of deal. I'm not sure. He's not got Shikuchi anymore. He has a Fairy Fire, back up to 140 health. Poison stacks are on him. Pichu not able to chase him, so it looks like Baboka barely survives on about 40 HP through the Tango regen. Yeah, this is a nasty lane, though. And Chalice has mangoes, got plenty of regen there. Burn through the HP of the Dire team. In mid lane, Dragonite 8 and 6 against the 4 and 2 Ember Spirit. And we've seen Dragonites just demolish lanes nowadays. Doesn't matter who it is, a TA, an Ember, a Timbersaw, any of these heroes that could have potentially handled Dragonite previously in previous patches now get handled by him.
Yeah, I mean, the DK Ember matchup has always been so DK-sided though, right? Like, he doesn't even need the point in the Dragon Tail just yet, and you've got a little bit more of that harassing potential through the Corrosive Breath against the Ember as well, bringing him down to just 2 armor, a whole lot more vulnerable to just dying early on, and really not too vulnerable going back the other way. gonna need to be a really, like, team-defining performance coming out here from Somnus, I think, if they're going to be able to get this win. I honestly don't even know what his itemization is going to be this game, because if you go something a little bit too passive like the Mage Slayer, I feel like that's just going to exacerbate your relative lack of damage. I mean, getting a solo kill onto Nothing to Say would feel pretty good, but won't be able to do it. He made sure not to hit him underneath that tower, just to make sure that the Flame Guard was doing the majority of the damage.
Tickle him down before those points in Dragon Blood come up. And then, of course, the third lane. Not look too much up here. TA at 9 and 0, Centaur 13 and 5. Yang coming out on top, of course, with the stronger lane against this very passive TA Wyvern lane, who need their levels, need a bit of time to get up and running. And down at bottom, of course, with all this lane shifting around, Baboga has dragged the wave around behind. Dire Wave meeting at the tier 1, so a bit of lost golden experience there for the Viper. And Wave arriving on that top Radiant tier 1 as well. Long lanes here for them to chase if they want to try and catch up to people. G2IG, they cannot play honorable Dota. They've got to pull out all the little tricks in the book here to get the laning stage going off to a good start for them.
Oh, for sure. And they should have the capabilities to do it, right? Wyvern is such more of a stable laner than she used to be. You're able to get a lot of harass off. You talked about Rubik being one of those best lane traders in the world. Wyvern's not terrible these days. You might not be able to get a ton of kills, but at least you're able to harass back the other way fairly reliably.
Yeah, once every 50 seconds or whatever it is.
Yeah. They
I guess it's not that bad anymore. It used to be really bad.
Yeah.
It used to be really bad for Wyvern. It's 26 now, huh?
Yep. And that doesn't count the time that you spent flying around as well. So it's actually a whole lot less.
That's pretty good.
It's really good.
See, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about, right? Expectation-wise, thinking, Rubik's the best trader in lane, blah, 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 blah. Nope. All these other heroes have got buffed so much, and Rubik getting nerfed and nerfed. And now the Winter Wyvern can actually fight back a little bit, more than once a minute.
As a Grandmaster Wyvern, I'm very happy with the overall changes there.
Oh, Blood Grenade down bottom with a Swarm on the walls, body blocking Picho. Clockwork. And he trapped up in it, and right-click down. Not quite dead just yet, and they can't dive fully under the tower for it.
So I'm not sure if they... Hold on, top side, Monet's getting gone on a little bit here. Maybe they feel like they can go back the other way. Yeah, but they just had the chainmail delivered recently, so Yang should be okay. Xnova actually removed his own sentry ward that was blocking up this hard camp as well. So maybe they thought they miscalculated like the amount that the lane would like shove back out to be able to get this extra bit of free farm, deny a little bit more away from the Centaur. But yeah, just getting it wrong means that Yang is actually doing a pretty good job in this lane.
Yeah, I mean, this is Centaur going for the max retaliate now, right? It looks like not going for the double edge play. You can't go and get aggressive into the TA, so just kind of farming waves and dragging it back. So him and Rubik never really pushing that wave naturally. Man, Dragon Knight.
Just swings his sword, nothing glamorous. Chop chop.
32 and 19. We used to talk about cheesy heroes and Ember Spirit getting dumpstered by Huskar or Necro. But when you're being dumpstered by a Dragon Knight, something's got to change.
And
man,
you're going to be forced to respond to this as well, because Nothing to Say is just getting a few hits in onto your tower.
TP bottom. Yep. JT trapped in the cogs. First blood going to come the way of Chalice, it looks like there, as he blows up. The Lycan down south, thanks to Planet's rotation, of course.
Nice little movement there, just to give that extra little bit of burst that they needed, but...
Yang. He's the trade.
Yeah. Sometimes things just go your way, though. Somnus was able to get the Illusion rune bottom. Obviously, Illusion, not the best thing that you could claim, but just to be able to get that refill on the bottle. Perhaps use these Illusions to be able to clear out the creep wave just that little bit quicker.
His Illusions have the visual of the Flame Guard, but they don't get the damage, right?
I wouldn't imagine so, but it seems like he's got the buff for it. It didn't seem like they were doing any damage to those creeps.
Yeah, I was trying to watch them tick down to it. It didn't look like it was doing any damage, but yeah, it's got the buff on it. It's got the visuals of it, but just pretending to be the real hero. 7 minutes, no sneaky steals. Planet and Babogi both getting their wisdom runes there.
Also, just keeping an eye on these jungles, especially from G2.IG, right? You're playing with a TA. You want to make sure that you're getting the maximum amount of stacks. It's Monet looking to try and get aggressive onto Yang, and it's going to allow X-Nova to move down bottom, actually. So maybe they're going to try and go for a bit of a wrap around here onto Chalice. Not quite yet level 6, though, on the Lycan, which would certainly enable that.
I still really wonder what this conversation went like. You know, Chalice is like, don't pick me DK next game, and then they picked him a Viper in game 3.
I don't know why.
X-Nova's gonna get scouted here. Picho and Chalice gonna get run out by Baboka and JT. X-Nova inside the cogs dying, and Chalice a TP. Ooh!
Wow.
Back to Fountain. The swarm was ticking on him, but he's safe and sound.
Wasn't expecting him to get away from that, to be honest, but then I have a look at his item build, just going a couple of Wraith Bands, making sure that he's able to survive through a lot of that early pressure in the laning stage, provide him some armor early on, which is the big weakness of this hero, and eventually, of course, it is going to scale as well. He needs to basically act like a turret, because he's also pretty much the only one capable of hitting into a lot of these towers as well, so it's going to require a big performance out of Chalice after not so great one that he had in that game number 2.
Oh, nearly TP'd home. The no stun gaming very apparent here. And G2.IG having almost no lockdown in this bottom. Well, they don't have any lockdown in this bottom lane until Winter Wyvern hits 6, which is obviously quite distant.
Yeah.
And nothing to say. He's got a lot of weight to lift there, and he's rushing into that Blink Dagger, of course, as required.
Just keeping an eye on Bobika's quick buy as well. He doesn't have anything there right now, but he's gone... we know he's a greedy support, right? He's gone the Wraith Band just to enable, again, more of that trading early on. He's making sure to build up plenty of stacks just so that he's going to continue to scale. Actually, 2 Wraith Bands as he gets the second one delivered. I really want to see him go into the Atos. Like, you need a little bit of extra control for the rest of your team. And, you know, eventually, if you do want to be a little bit greedier, you do want to scale yourself, you can just convert it into the Glipnir, right? But early on, I feel like that's just an area that they're lacking.
It's just such a massive departure from the tale we've been spinning and what we've been seeing. Somnus is bottom of the net worth of the cause. No emphasis on him, no rotations mid. Left to fend for himself. And he's pulling out all the stops here, cutting waves, grabbing runes, farming in neutral camps. Trying to get himself up to a point where he can maybe fight back a little bit here.
What? Yeah, I wonder if they feel like they can go on to nothing to say here.
Shot. Straight on the DK, multiple remnants into the cogs, and they've got this amplified damage rune still going for Somnus to slay the beast.
I just saw Picho there, like, on the far side after he placed down that observer ward, and they would have seen him move there as well. Planet's got an observer inside the jungle, but maybe just not thinking he was level 6, considering it was only 9.5 minutes when he made that movement. So, very, very nicely done, and you also get a haste rune for the Ember Spirit as well.
I think he's got every single active rune so far, right?
Yeah.
And he's done very well for himself.
And that is not what I was expecting to happen.
A lot of damage. Let's see if they can finish him off here with the TH chasing forward, forcing the Stampede, at least a small victory there. Somnus rotating in with a Flame Guard. And a Searing Chains to catch out X-Nova, charging straight in onto the Wyvern with his haste rune, but now having to retreat against the physical damage of Monet. And that'll be that. Meanwhile, Picho has died down on the bottom lane, I believe. And Weaver and a Lycan pairing up to kill him off.
Next Nova, he's just hanging around. He really wants to make sure that he can hit into this level 6 for himself as quickly as possible. Not able to get another stack off for TA. He's been able to build up a few so far this game. I really want to see just a little bit more of that presence to enable his own game somewhat. Yeah, they know
the
that
Viper's in.
Yep.
Oh yeah, lift him back up. Keep him in the Nether Toxin. TA reasonably tanky with the Strength Treads and that Refraction, so they will come back in with the Baboka to trade out 1-for-1. The Swarm? Does X-Nova have mana here for a curse or anything? Somnus is trying to get away from them, and X-Nova actually a little worse for wear, but does have that curse ready now with a mana pool available. Not going to use it. Not going to have to.
They have vision there? I'm like... Just the decision to go in onto the TA was very ballsy. It was just a little bit unlucky from on X-Nova's front that he'd used the Cold Embrace onto himself just to enable him to be ready for a potential fight that was going to come out. But yeah, that meant that Monet just had nothing to be able to play around with. No curse, no heal, no nothing. Meant that Bobika was just a little bit late for that rotation.
And key items coming up. Nothing to say, Blink Dagger arriving soon. And saw the Centaur pick up his Blade Mail. So his farm can accelerate, and I honestly feel like the key one here is JT's Lycan has been left alone for quite some time. You know, killing tower, getting a kill on Clockwork, Helm of the Dominator done, and Overlord queued up. You know, not that far away, honestly, the way he's been farming. He's gone from being like 6th in the net worth, now being 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, the big surprising thing to me, though, is that Team Turtle were able at all to get a tower at this stage of the game. They really just don't have the tools to be able to do it, but considering the timing that they made that previous rotation around the Siege Creep, picking off the DK before he was just super tanky, using 3 heroes, TPing in the Viper, they were able to secure that tier 1 for themselves a little while ago, and it just opened up the map so much more for them. It means that you're not going to be quite as easily able to make this these ganks happen with the Blink Dagger, and you can see, nothing to say, he's basically just forced to walk into the lane and reveal it, so you're not going to have that surprise factor now.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower
Might even get a second.
There's nobody coming to defend this. The
okay if
Chalice
everyone's
Viper
on.
is busy Midasing creeps.
Yeah. Looks like they'll get a tier 1 in return. Look how quickly that tower just melted up with the Alpha Wolf, of course. It's dominated. An immediate smoke as well, looking to try and make the most out of this Elder Dragon form. No shapeshift pop just yet.
Radiant's middle tower.
And Planet gonna get scouted by one of the wolves. They're gonna try and beeline for this Rubik. They're spreading across the map here, trying to catch up Picho's Clockwork. He'll die to the Dragon Knight. Chains from Somnus. Yang moves in. Out goes Baboka as Yang's gonna get demolished by the Minus Armor Melt Strike. Now Somnus, 3 remnants at the ready to jump over the terrain and get back to high ground. A little bit of distance coming now. He's gonna meet Baboka's Weaver though, coming back in with a bit of damage, and another Dragon Tail stun to catch out the Ember Spirit under his own tower. 1 remnant left, trying to juke them north as maybe he'll remnant south, and they're waiting on the remnant with a couple more heroes though, trying to find him as Somnus is making a great escape here. Chalice now joining in, forcing a TP out of the DK, getting turned on with a Melt Strike, and the physical damage just destroys the Viper. Face tanks it all. Somnus has to remnant back, and G2.IG really domineering this game now as the laning phase broke down. They move on to Yang as well, who's TP'd in, trying to hold the line.
They still have
down to half
well.
HP immediately, and a blink stun from nothing to say. Hook shot trying to delay. Pichu buys a bit of time for Yang here as well, with Planet trying to defend this aggressive move from G2.IG, keeping the DK alive, nearly zapped down by the Rubik. Somnus comes back in. Round 4, fight with the Ember Spirit. Monet, he's looking like he might be out of position as well. Pichu makes the move forward with the cogs to trap him inside.
Who's the one in
Somnus,
danger?
half HP. Searing Chains trying to catch in the back. Turned on again with no remnants remaining. He's nearly dead. The Swarm, the Weaver kills him. Baboka picks up a killing spree. A non-stop back and forth fight here. But again, G2IG coming out the victors, it feels like.
We're going to need about 50 fight recaps for this one, Gary. There was just a non-stop one, and all the while I was like, where's the Winter's Curse? When is it coming? And I'm sure that's what Team Turtle, all of their comms was about as well. They just didn't want to group up. They could never truly just rally around this Viper, allow Chalice to stand his ground and, you know, try and take away some of the threat that this TA is providing. Does have the Midas though. He'll start scaling for himself. He wants that become universal talent for himself, but it's going to be a long road before he's able to get into it.
Well, this is the thing, right? Like, Team Turtle, it felt like lanes were meant to go better. It's been great from G2IG to hold their own, fight back. And now we're in a position where Team Turtle probably, you know, genuinely thinking about minute 30. You know, 16 minutes in, that's not where you want to be. You're buying a blink on a centaur, maybe that'll give you a couple of chances here alongside the Clockwork to find some snipes and kills, but yeah, Ember needs time, Viper needs time, and you're looking at an overfarmed TA, a Lycan who is just shapeshifting and running at you, and hell, even this Weaver is causing massive problems.
I do like Somnus' item build. Again though, like you said, he's going to need time. He's going for a Radiance on the Ember Spirit. Full roleplay style, you know, just all the burn, all the fiery damage that's going to be coming through. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go into like a Cloak of Flames as well as everything else. So you just want to make sure that you're breaking through that TA refraction as quickly as possible. You want to make sure you can ignore the damage coming through from the ignore the armor from the DK, and basically every bit of damage coming through towards you is physical. So just that little bit of evasion, that mischance that it's going to be providing is going to be so beneficial.
I see X Nova. Nothing to say, it was nearby. And Dire Vision, they're going to scout out Planet as well, as Stolen Shikuchi will get him across the map pretty quickly. Trying to place down observer wards of his own, but I think he's been scouted every step of the way by the wolves, the dragon.
They're just waiting for an
Sentry's there in
opportunity
range,
to do
but
Roche.
I don't quite see it.
You just fired a rocket there on Picho from the bottom side of the map to the top, potentially catching anyone in its path. He's just constantly using it because he knows how quickly they're going to be able to take this one. Might just use the Helm of the Overlord to be able to might get a D-ward here on X-Nova for free. Very nicely done. Actually, a little bit of lane push being put in by Planet here just to try and divert the attention away. Is that a TP back from the TA? No. Monet was just farming. So yeah, he's just going to instantly join the rest of his team, knowing that now they don't have a tier 1 tower to be able to call in reinforcements. Alright, prediction, Gary, how long will this take to die? I'm saying 6 seconds.
4. Starting now. 1, 2, 3, 3.5, and 4 seconds.
Wow. That's why they pay you.
Oh, so good at this game, man.
Let's go.
What was it? It was 6 seconds. Yeah.
It was like 10.
Whatever.
Nothing to say, he's going to Orchid, which I like, you know? You want to make sure that you're disabling the Stampede potential. So honestly, even going on to Yang, not the worst. He's only got the Blade Mail to be able to play around with, right? So just sitting on like 10 armor or so that he's got to be able to play around with, and with everything that you've got coming back the other way, you know, Orchid damage, Desolator, Meld, you're instantly going to go into the negatives just with Monet initiating onto you. And I think he's got a Blink Dagger coming out, so that's going to be very easy. Do you have a second Orchid on Bobica? I think you do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting pretty wild out there. Good luck to the Ember, to the Viper, hell to any member of Team Turtle here. It's one of these drafts where Turtle need... Like, they need every single hero to make anything happen. It doesn't feel like they've got those pairings of, you know, we can play together with this hero and that hero. They'll lose Planet up at top as he gets just absolutely eviscerated.
Deleted.
Blood drained. Flops on the floor, and Chalice is being body blocked here by the Wolf.
Oh,
JT right in front of him, forcing the Stampede quite early on there.
That's a big
But yeah, this is a situation where G2.IG, you know, with TA +1, DK +1, whatever it might be, they'll find a Clockwork, and jump into the base as well. Onto Chalice, the Viper's dying. There's Yang's going to come in with a massive stomp to hold the back, but the Viper's still dead. They'll go onto Yang and kill him as well. This game just being turned on its head. Our high ground attempt 20 minutes in. Talking about how Team Turtle, they need minute 30 to come. Look at that minus armor. Absolutely insane stuff here as G2.IG have had enough of mucking around. They want this series done and dusted.
Just
pushing high ground and taking barracks.
It's way too much, and it's going to be quite some time until you're able to get into anything that's going to be able to, you know, restrict a lot of the pressure coming through to you. Love the timing of IG doing it as well, right? Not only was the lane already fairly pushed in, but it's going to enable them to go into this Tormentor as well. I wouldn't be surprised if someone stuck around to maybe steal away the Wisdom Rune, but I don't think it's even needed at this stage of the game, right? Much rather just push down all the other lanes. Look to use this Aegis to its fullest potential rather than spending time waiting.
I feel like Chalice is wishing he was playing anti-mage again, because this has shades of that game one where, you know, this draft from Team Turtle, it was meant to do decently in lanes, didn't quite get off the ground. Now what do you do? You're looking at a 10k net worth lead for G2.IG. They've taken a lane of barracks, they've taken your Tormentor, they're stealing everything away from you, and it hasn't felt like Team Turtle has, like, I don't know, I guess Somnus is the big question mark for me. This Ember Spirit pick into the DK, 92% win probability there is wild.
I'm not surprised. Like, I really wasn't a fan of this Viper pick just because, like, I feel like they picked it into what counters it. They got a little bit too close-minded around, you know, or what's good against TA. I mean, you can ban it. That's what's good against TA right now, just because it feels like an insane hero for the laning stage, for its farming speed, and it just synergized perfectly with the rest of the minus armor coming through from IG's draft. So I'm a little surprised that they were able to get away with this. More
big old items. AC. They've got Radiance and Greaves, though, over on Team Turtle.
Okay.
14.5k damage out the TA. Lycan doing his fair share, but now an AC is going to buff that up even further. So, like, a team fight on the doorstep of the Radiant base here could just lead to game over, potentially.
Well, maybe they'll live for 2 seconds instead of 1. You never know.
With the Greaves? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe a jump down bottom, as it looks like Team Turtle itching for a
find the
fight,
initiate.
catching the jump on the TA with the chains and stomp, but
she's
no
got the
commitment
Aegis.
there. Chalice couldn't quite catch up, and she does have that Aegis as a second life. Refraction was coming off cooldown as well. So we'll see a smoke into smoke here. That's Pichio getting jumped on. He tried to break up the staircase, but they've held the ramp. Turn on the clockwork. Another blink stop from Yang, though. Coming back in with Sonic.
curse.
There's a curse. Nicely placed. 3 caught up in it. Pichio nearly dying, but the Greaves keeps him alive. Turning on nothing to say, while Monet dropping low. First life about to drop. Aegis claimed up. There's Somnus, though, into the backline
Somnus
once
doing
more.
it.
Cold Embrace keeping DK alive, and they turn back. JT's dead. Yang's been traded out. Nothing to say trying to fight into the Ember now. As Chalice, he's being shredded by the Wolves and the Templar Assassin. Baboka will come in to help out, while X-Nova is still chasing Somnus. He's dancing, he's juking, he's jiving, but now he's been stunned. Caught up in the run of Atos. Dead and caught. 4 down. JT, the one casualty of war there from G2.IG, along with the Aegis, but it is just clean sweeping through this Team Turtle squad.
Perfect Winter's Curse coming through there from X-Nova as well, immediately after the Clockwork initiation, so they were just held in place entirely. It gave Monet the time to be able to move away from that tier 2 tower by the time the Aegis had expired. He was, in a pretty vulnerable spot to be sure, but it just provides you with so much of that safety net to be able to play around with. And I mean, this net worth lead is just way out of control right now, and they're going the items to be able to close it out, right? BKB already finished up on nothing to say, getting pretty close, just 500, 600 gold away from Monet to be able to get into it, and he's going a nullifier on JT as well. So any of these, like, saving potential items that they might be looking to go for, not going to be all that successful.
Radiant are scanning.
It's just ridiculous how quickly this damage comes out as well.
Yep.
Team Turtle meeting their nemesis. G2.IG role-playing as Shredder as they literally shred through their opponents right now. They've got the claws on the Lycan. They've got the armor on the DK. The TA standing her ground. Team Turtle trying to find a little bit of wiggle room here. And nothing down in this bottom right-hand corner. No Roshan for at least 2 minutes. No dire heroes whatsoever.
I wouldn't call G2IG the villains, but kind of feels like it are if we're going full Ninja Turtle fantasy, right? Who's Bebop? Who's Rocksteady? Who's Kang? If we've got Shredder as well.
I don't know, who's Azure Ray?
They might be facing up against G2IG and not Team Turtle. You got to consider that first.
Nothing to say. Yeah, blinks out of there. The Wolves. I think it's been causing problems for Team Turtle.
Radiant's courier has been
Scouts them
Vision's
all out.
looking pretty bleak right now. I mean, the Wolves as well just provide so much of that either ghost push or scouting potential. Like, how are you supposed to deal with everything that they've got
TA
coming at
traps.
you? Yeah.
Oh, look at that. It's like Christmas for G2.IG. It's all lit up. You've got fairy lights everywhere.
All those little spots on the map that we see there is just, oh, we see everything. And it's also, a Aghanim Shard TA trap as well, so it's got the silence aspect as well.
Is that a fun little, I don't know if it's Scriff or Webpass, is that a fun little game, hovering over the TA traps and trying to connect the dots on the mini-map?
That would be hilarious if a player actually drew something with their TA traps
Yeah.
along the map.
Or was it color by numbers? Connect the dots. Bring it all together. Baboka scaling pretty heavily now as he moves as well into that Gleipnir and closing in on it pretty quickly. 18k lead, going to become 20 soon for G2.IG. That's just that next move. They don't have to rush into anything. They are dictating the pace of play. They can wait for their next Roshan, because G2.IG have got to know if they get next Aegis, it's mega creeps, right? It's like close to game over. That 85% win probability goes to 95, 98, whatever it might be.
Even Bobica scaling, dude, he has more net worth than Yang does on this Weaver. I said I wanted him to go into the Atos. He did, and then he's going to build it into the Gleipnir next. So that's, even more potential to be able to counter out something like the Stampede when they're trying to escape from a lot of these engagements that just feel so difficult already. The only other item that I could possibly want in terms of, like, what's going to provide you the most efficiency is Pichio. Poor guy, he's going to get caught out saving the Atos as well, so not even going to be able to escape. I want to see a Solar Crest coming out, just for a little bit more of that attack damage, a little bit more of that attack speed, a little bit more of that armor, just to be able to throw it onto whatever one of JT's Helm of the Overlord creeps is wanting to actually siege the high ground. You can let DK and the Helm of the Overlord creep do it, and just buff them up as much as possible.
Well, Somnus getting a bit of split push and farm going at the very least. Needs to share with Yang, though, over in these Ancients. Going to see a Lotus Orb for the Centaur get finished off shortly. BKB queued up for Somnus. A Nullifier done over on that Lycan on the opposing side, though, so that's going to cause issues here for Team Turtle in their back and forth fights. They need to kind of slink away when someone gets blink stunned by the DK.
Nearly got a Bloodthorn as well for nothing to say. So not too many things have True Strike still in this game. That is one of them. Just going to use that in on to, I would assume, Somnus. So it's going to be very important for him to... Ooh, they smoked underneath a TA trap. So they know that they're trying to make some sort of play. But again, I really don't feel like G2.IG care all that much. They're going to be trying to get down to that Wisdom Rune area by the time it hits that 28-minute mark. Might be able to do so with the TA blink coming up just around the time that it's going to spawn. So if Yang moves on forward, he's in danger of dying. And yeah, I think he's well aware of that fact.
What kind of turtles are Team Turtle? Now, we've talked about them as though they're, you know, oh, hang on. Is that a dead Ember Spirit on my screen? He's been caught up in this Bloodthorn, Rod of Atos. The Stampede gets a little bit of distance. He's still starting stuff, and the final touch of damage there from Baboka clears him out. Now, Bloodthorn and Orchid beautifully executed there from G2.IG to get that kill.
I mean, this game, they feel like soft-shell turtles. They are just absolutely getting torn apart. There's nothing that's going to be able to protect them, right? Even the Centaur, the one that's meant to be, is just getting shredded in a lot of these team fights. At least now, he's somewhat more capable of frontline. He's got the Defiant Shell, he's got the Lotus Orb with the Plate Mail in it, he's got a Blade Mail, so decent armor, but it's gotten beyond the point where you actually care about the Centaur. You're just going to be hitting towers.
So they're not some kind of like Galapagos tortoise. They've lived too long. They've outlasted everyone, but now it's their time.
Extinct, bro.
It's their time to be extinct now. It looks like. That was something I didn't know actually until recently. I always thought, you know, turtles and tortoises and terrapins were all like very distinct, different things. They're all under the turtle taxonomy apparently. As they blink stun here, Yang trying to make a move on nothing to say. Doesn't really feel the danger, the damage until that Nether Toxin and the right clicks from the Viper arrive. Monet's dead up on his high ground as well. Where's the rest of the team?
Leaving him.
The Lycan, the Weaver, the Wyvern just going to be leaving Monet here to try and BKB TP. It looks like it should be successful with no stuns through it.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Baboka down a bottom lane, caught up by Yang. A blink stun from the Centaur. A bit of follow through here. Gleipnir to hold them back. He's got another Shikuchi. TP at the ready, hiding in the trees, and it looks like he's just slipped out of the range of them.
Oh, the TA
Good
trap.
silence as well from the TA trap.
All right. Yeah, it's not completely secured just yet. We see that they do have the potential to be able to layer out a lot of that damage, and it really is all on the back of that Viper Strike, right? That's what breaks these days, not the Nether Toxin. So they were able to land that onto the DK. I think he ended up dragon tailing without the BKB up onto the Centaur as well. It was a really nice Lotus Orb from Yang to be able to reflect that back to enable them to layer in all that damage. So, you know, it's a little bit of net worth. It goes over to the Centaur, who, I don't even necessarily know what the next item is going to be for Yang. Like, how are you actually going to
maybe
put yourself onto these team fights? And yeah, gets caught out.
Annihilated. I mean, Yang had BKB queued up previously, but I don't know what the item is to save Team Turtle here. I don't know what the grouping of items is. You know, kind of wish this Ember had 3 Furies and a couple of Rapiers or something like that. It's
Stay with me, Gary. The workhorse, the Aghanim Scepter. Put the Viper in it and drag him around and let him actually hit people without the risk of dying.
Maybe.
They're not going to wait for that time, though. They're pushing in once again. Aegis or no.
Nothing to say.
To just find these targets.
Straight in on the clockwork. Picho dead. Has buyback available. 15 seconds for the Ember to respawn as well. There's another Toxin and the damage at the time. Annoying, but a great BKB timing. Nothing to say. Presses the button.
Stun.
Gets himself out of danger. Turns onto Yang. He's dead. Centaur also does have buybacks. It looks like Turtle team have defended their barracks, at least for now. And there's a couple of gems on the ground.
I mean, you could just go straight back in, though. X-Nova didn't use the Winter's Curse. You know the Stampede was used, but taking it slow. I mean, really showing a lot of respect over to Team Turtle. Wanting to maybe wait for that next Aegis, but I don't know. I'm a little worried if they take it that late. Am I? Am I actually that worried?
Yeah,
I really feel like
Viper's gonna turn universal.
He's 9 levels away, unfortunately.
Viper's gonna turn. He's got a Hand of Midas.
Yeah, he's gonna have the Skadi, which will be kind of nice, I guess, against the DK and the TA. I'm just not sure if, like, where is the damage coming from? It really feels like it needs to all be on Somnus, and at least he's got the BKB for himself now, so he can continue trying to cut some of these waves. He'll have an escape potential, but I don't know. It just feels like even if it gets super late, I mean, TA is going to hit her level 25 timing before you do. You're going to have more refraction instances. You're going to have, you know, level 20 on the Lycan, so you've got even more damage coming through from the Feral Impulse, so the bonus damage for the Helm of the Overlord creep. It just feels like very risk-free Dota that G2.IG need to play, you know?
Well, it looks like someone's released a pack of wolves onto the Galapagos Islands here. The turtles and tortoises are being munched up as the the Lycan gets himself an Aghanim Shard. Wolves going to be coming for you. Can we see who's done the most damage, actually, for Team Turtle? And I guess across the board. 'Cause I'm kind of curious to see, like, Viper versus Ember Spirit. You know, Clockwork Centaur, these are the initiation heroes. Yeah, they're not too far away from each other. Primarily Ember Spirit there, as TA really just racking up the big numbers on the other side.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm trying to think of other avenues for them to potentially turn this around. Maybe,
Rapiers.
like, what if Planet steals a Winter's Curse? You know, that could be something that turns the fight around. You know, not only just because of holding the fight, not only just because of the damage that the G2IG heroes would be doing, but it also allows you to actually just start layering in a bunch of poison attacks into a bunch of different heroes. Look at all the traps around that mid lane of Rax, actually. Like, are they just wanting them to all commit heavily into the mid Rax? All the ones that Planet were able to steal, and then they're just gonna pop them all?
Is it expiring? I guess he was using it before it was expiring, right? Just gonna plop them all down before they get found. That's pretty funny, though. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. He's got like 16 traps around mid and bottom lane.
Oh,
Good
Chalice
stuff.
won't have his Skadi anytime soon as well. They sniped Courier.
That's unfortunate.
Just another thing that Weaver does well. Double hit, instant way to be able to kill it. Once again, continuing to scale. Glipnir, Dragonlance, Orchid into the BKB. Position for Weaver, by the way. Nearly overtaking every single person on Team Turtle.
Yeah, you're gonna have 4 dire heroes up at the top, as Yang gets blink stunned by nothing to say. Monet's coming in with the silencers. The Stampede does come out thanks to the Lotus Orb, though, and the damage. Oh, hang on. Is that enough to catch him out? Can they follow through? The Greaves, the lift, the save, the blink. He gets out of danger just in time. They were trying to chase him down. Let's put the fear of God into him, though, and the Stampede does get used up.
Yeah. Of course, one of the other benefits of the DK is such a low downtime on that Elder Dragon form, right? Going to be up in another 15 seconds. Once again, you know that there's no Stampede available, so now's the time to be able to make this sort of play. I say that as Somnus is maybe trying to be baited here with the Wisdom Rune. Doesn't look like he's going to take the bait, though, as he used the scan just to see if anyone was moving up there. Such good presence of mind coming out from him. And it's going to mean that Nothing to Say isn't with the rest of the boys, so with this Stampede off cooldown, they're not going to be able to go up into that high ground. Again, maybe they were just choosing the more conservative route, just waiting for that Aegis. One more time, it will spawn top. 15 seconds away, but the most it can be is 3 minutes, so G2IG are comfortable in the fact that that wave is obviously going to be the one that's passively pushing in, considering they already took the racks there. And again, they're just going for the safer route. Crimson Guard, not a bad item for Yang to be going into, but feels like it's going to get to the point where the amount that you're able to stop from actually damaging is going to be pretty insignificant, considering how hard Monet is starting to hit. He's got the Daedalus finished up now, and he's going into an Arcane Blink, just not wanting to be held back and unable to join in with the rest of the team.
It just makes the game so easy, right? When you control 80% of the map, you've got little red dots everywhere. You see everything, you know everything. Omnipresent, omniscient, G2IG here. As Lacoste would say, oh boy, Jackie Chan, he's doing it. 30k lead, 21-7. Game 3 in a best of 3. Elimination time, as it looks like Team Turtle now going from Grim Reaper to being 1 foot in the grave. Just this final game that separates one of these two teams from that lower bracket final against Azure Ray, and that potential to head to TI in Denmark. Blink Dagger up on the Wyvern now, so even easier to try and get the catch on people.
Golem.
A big old mud golem.
Yeah, it was stealing away any farm that Team Turtle have the potential to get, right? Like, even this area, they're not safe to be able to go into, and I was talking about some of those big timings. Monet, he's level 25, so if he wanted to, he can very shortly buy up the Arcane Blink for himself. You've got the BKB on Bobica, he's level 20. Roshan's just about to respawn. He'll be up top with a free Aghanim's Blessing, so, I mean, who are we even giving that to? Do you give that to TA, I guess? DK, maybe? Yeah, probably DK. Just to give it even more of a safe way to be able to siege up onto that high ground. Not sure if you want to shapeshift anyone.
Yang? Well, that's a choice.
Midas?
Yeah.
Sure. They're like, look, if they're not going to push into us and we can't farm anything, what's the one thing that's going to let us get at least a little bit of net worth? I know.
Oh, man. I guess experience as well. He's level 17, stuck in the base, not able to touch creeps. Give me that juicy XP. And yeah, JT also making a choice. 6 Mantles of Intelligence queued up as his next items.
Very smart boy. Yeah, there we go. Nothing to say.
Well, you'd argue he's not very smart if he needs all his mantles.
You can never be too smart.
Okay. It's not something I've ever
Not wanting
had
to join in with
about.
the rest of the boys. Like, are they really just wanting to confirm this, right? They've got 2 cheeses, they've got an Aegis, they've got a 39k net worth lead, and he's like, you know what? We still need a Scyther just to confirm it. And I guarantee as soon as they get that as well, they're like, you know what? We need one other item. As Somnus actually kills the creep that he was trying to do down there.
Yeah, I mean, it's game 3, elimination time. If you want to put this one to bed, go out with a bang, you want it to be nuclear, right? You want all the biggest items you can possibly find, like a Daedalus on Baboka. He's telling his team, guys, chill, just wait. I need 3-4 minutes, I'll have a Daedalus.
He's actually got the
Just
I'm
guys,
not surprised.
yeah. Guys, please, you know. Scythe of Ice recipe in the inventory there for JT, of course, as you do. Swapping
gonna
things
force
around
them
as
to
he
tap
spots
out.
out Somnus over in his ancient area. A quick zip away to his remnant. But yeah, top and mid lane both pushing in pretty heavily here means Team Turtle are going to come back and defend. It's
Here we go.
G2.IG.
Surely now. Coming in with the Scythe of Ice, with the smoke, trying to end it. X-Nova's got a Blink Dagger as well to be able to play around with. So, that surprise Blink Curse initiation. If they're able to somehow get some sort of vision, maybe send a couple of wolves inside the base, just for a little bit of extra info.
Man, this is
Okay.
Team Turtle with a player called Planet. It's all about World Day, Earth Day. Keep things green with a Viper throwing nether toxin anywhere. G2.IG just coming in and throwing straws, plastic straws, and those little plastic things on top of beer cans into the water, causing all kinds of toxic nonsense to the environment. And what can Team Turtle do? They get jumped on, probably just get killed off and die. Chalice, Picho, both gone. They both have buyback, but this is looking absolutely disastrous for them now. Glyph
Pop the
used
traps.
up. Pop the traps. They're being killed off. They're being destroyed by Monet. Another barracks down. There's nothing to say. Will stand his ground. Yang will blink in. The Centaur stomp on 2. The follow through, though. Where is it? Monet will turn and slay the beast. The Centaur is about to die. Somnus, he does come in with the Jalapecho. The Hogue shot and the Remnants over the top. Somnus BKB'd up trying to kill the Swarm before he dies. Remnant away. Gets a bit of distance. Another sleight of fist and Remnant to get out of danger. Team Turtle stay alive at least for now. 5 heroes up, 2 buybacks expended, but G2.IG still have Aegis and Cheese. They got a barracks, they've got a double damage rune spawned at top, and Team Turtle are the ones that have to go and do something.
Yeah, and they need to do it right now, but again, they just don't have the tools to do it right. Still no BKB on Somnus for the next 60 seconds. You've got no Stampede. They're just going to go straight away. Wait for the Elder Dragon form to come back up. It's only 15 seconds away. Still has the BKB on the DK. Just put him on the front lines. Let him do all the work.
I mean, JT gonna send out his summons and wolves as well. A couple of catapults up on the front lines.
Turtle by name, turtle by nature, Gary. There's only
they're
so
trying.
long that you can hold out.
And they're trying, but we've got the Turtle Breaker here from G2.IG. Oh, Yang, he jumped in, but immediately controlled up. The Cold Embrace is on him. They turn on to Nothing to Say, who BKBs and TPs, I think, going for the Nightfall play to escape away. The curse was great. Somnus is going to try and chase into Baboka now, as JT and Monet a little scared about the follow-through coming in. But they turn back with Monet onto Somnus. That's a low HP TA, but holding Aegis. Don't forget that second life is available. Charge forward from Planet and Somnus, but they can't latch onto anyone while Yang is desperately trying, scrambling to kill Baboka, who gets the time lapse off. They can't kill a single hero here. Really struggling to even kill a support. Maybe on this Lycan now, JT about to fall. His BKB is up, but that's not protection against the right clicks out of the Viper. Maybe it is. The force staff forward finally. No, he's still alive. When the BKB ends, though, the poison will take him down. Eventually found as Monet goes for the Nightfall himself. BKB TP out. Winter Wyvern gets caught. Team Turtle defend their base. But look at bottom lane. Who's that? It's Baboka. He's in there on the barracks, killing off another lane with catapults going.
Oh, so annoying. Didn't even have the Daedalus at the time. Probably will want to go into something like a Deso for himself just to enable them to hit in onto the backline. I mean, TA's gotten farmed enough that Monet doesn't even need it anymore, right? Sitting in the backpack for now, but wouldn't be surprised to see it sold up for something like that Butterfly that he's got queued up next. And yeah, just let Baboka do all the work. He's playing Rat Dota to perfection right now, and you know, we've reached that dangerous point. It feels like it's been at that stage for, what, the past 20, 25 minutes, where the net worth lead is coinciding with the time in the game, and that's always really, really bad news for the team on the receiving end.
Danog.
Gareth.
Just wait.
Okay. 3 levels away.
3 levels away for the Viper to hit level 25.
I knew what you were going for. They're even hookshotting the Tormentor. Is Picho gonna die to this?
No, he's fine.
Okay.
He's got Greaves from Planet, thankfully. The Hand of Midas is kicking in. 43 minutes. We've got Aghanim Scepter on the Ember Spirit. I'm a believer.
What about
I'm a believer in
Midas, though?
Captain Planet and Turtle Power. Just need a bit of pepperoni pizza here.
He did it! He's gone for the hitcher ride. The workhorse, it's coming through.
Whew.
See it.
Let's see if it works out. Maelstrom picked up by the Viper now to try and push out these waves and hold on. And the workhorse for the Centaur. See if she's going to grab Chalice and drag him around, because he's going to get jumped in a second now. Nothing to say. Up to the high ground. They want the buildings to get the mega creeps. Somnus, he jumps in deep here, gets hexed up. They turn onto him with Monet. Yang has jumped in aggressively here as well, eh? BKB's out from G2.IG. Shiny golden gods. Picho has gone with a great power cogs, trapping JT inside of them. Now the Viper being dragged around, the hitcher ride not working out as they expected. And now the Winter's Curse, straight there on the Centaur. The Viper will turn and hit into his friend. The poor man just tried to hit.
Refreshing goodness, they got the seasons.
Tier 4 and open up the throne. That's it. Game over. Team Turtle have been slain.
Oh, it took a while. It really, really was it. But at the very end of the day, the little turtles, tried to go back out to Ocean, but they got sniped by the seagulls of G2.IG. They were able to just close it out in pretty convincing fashion, Gary. Even from the draft stage, we were like, where's the damage? This Viper really feels a little bit narrow-minded. It felt like it was very vulnerable to all of the minus armor, all of the single target, and all the physical damage that G2.IG were able to throw at them. But, you know, can't take it away from them. They had to draft it. They had to be able to punish that sort of situation. And, well, it's good to see that they've still got that way to be able to go back to the bank, to be able to pull out these minus armor strats that not too many teams are doing these days.
Yeah, it's great for G2.IG there. It's going to pick things up, get themselves into that lower bracket final now against Azure Ray. It's kind of sad to see the Grim Reapers go, you know, old Turtle team. What was it, Lao Guidre, you know, dropping out here. They gave it a good old shot, but G2.IG just proving to be a better team here overall in this best of 3.
For them, though, like you mentioned, Lao Guidre, mission accomplished. They knocked out the old LGT. Is that really, you know, everything that they were going for? Obviously, Somner's going to be a little sad wearing his Azure jersey, not going to be able to face up against them in that losers bracket final. But what a great performance for them, right? Coming from open qualifiers, going lossless up until this series, not even dropping a single game, and really putting a big scare into the G2.IG boys, the team that I would say for the past couple of months has probably looked second best in China, right? Only behind Extreme Gaming.
I mean, JT dying head of the poison as his BKB expires. You know, little signs of life at the end, 42 minutes in, but yeah, when you're down by such a tremendous amount of net worth there, just seeing the 43k net worth lead, getting a couple of kills, doesn't really lead to anything. As G2.IG just came back, destroyed your barracks, got the mega creeps, and forced you to take a very hectic, drastic team fight where it was just, reeking of desperation here from Team Turtle towards the end
They
of
had
game
no
3.
choice. Yeah, like it was something that you just had to do. Love the spacing as well by Xnova on the back lines, waiting until the very end. The hitcher ride ended up just hitching him to his own death, unfortunately. They're not even able to steal the curse at the very end. It was a Splinter Blast that Planet was able to secure. So you see the amount of damage that they're able to burst out in such a quick fashion. There's no way to be able to respond to it. And a very, very well-deserved victory. And they won't get too much of a rest either on G2.IG. They've still got one more series to be able to play today. MVP, Gary? Any predictions there?
Oh, geez.
I'd say Monet.
But I don't. He's playing TA though. You can't give TA players MVP. I kind of think that last pick Lycan was a little bit of genius coming out of G2.IG. So I don't know. We're not allowed to give it to coaches and stuff. I'd say Super there with this draft for Game 3. Definitely spot on. Undid what Team Turtle wanted to do. Put backs against the wall for Team Turtle there. Okay, Monet, he had the numbers. He was playing TA though, so I don't think that particularly counts. I don't know. I think that they all pulled their weight. All the lanes went pretty damn well for themselves. Baboka's a cheeky little fella though. JT can be up there as well with his early Helmly Overlord into that Nullifier build is real nice.
The thing with going for that greedy build as well on Boboka, by the way, he didn't die a single time, so that's another bit of props for him, is that he was able to find out Pichu when he was going for those consistent, roaming ward, we like to call it, styles of strategy, right? Trying to make a little bit of that extra space, get a bit of extra vision, but as soon as he revealed himself, he was getting orchided, and then when he tries to TP away, he was getting ATOS'd, just because Boboka had gone for this, I'm providing some support, but also you 1v1 me, it's not going to end well. And he was able to take him out, I think 3 times, almost solo. So really big props need to be given over to him for this greedy build. I'm not sure if Azure will let him get away with it, though. I think this was an absolute draft loss for Team Turtle, which is unfortunate because they've given us such entertaining Dota over these entire qualifiers. And speaking of those qualifiers, we've just got one series left, don't we, Gary? As this is the last one for you and me. It's been a great time casting with you, a great time casting China. Any closing words?
No, it's been an absolute pleasure, kind of going down, memory lane a little bit with some of these old players coming back, always sad to see them go. Once we get into these elimination spots with LGD dropping out, of course, Team Turtle here, some big names going out. But then on the other side, great to see, Team Zero, Ponlo making their way through to qualify for TI through the upper bracket. And of course, that last series of the qualifier here, Dan, like you're saying, kind of a great pleasure to cast China, cast alongside with you, and cast towards TI in Denmark on this road to the international. So right now we do have a 30 or 40 minute break just to give G2.IG a bit of breathing room there to catch up for their next series. It will be a best of 3 lower bracket. One series decides all. Who is that last team from China to head towards TI? Make sure you stick around in about 30 minutes time and see you then.
The official headset of PGL tournaments. Now, with a wireless version. Experience unparalleled speed and reliability with the latest wireless technology, advanced hybrid ANC, and built-in EQ for your favorite game. Designed with elegance and durability, and extreme noise-canceling microphone. Always stay one step ahead with Aspire Wireless. The